SpongeBob Squarepants is one of the most iconic animated series of all time, a show that defined many childhoods and even seeped into internet meme culture.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yet, ask longtime fans, and many will pinpoint a clear drop in quality after the early seasons. How did a cartoon that debuted in 1999 to near universal acclaim later gain a reputation for decline? In this video, we'll explore the rise and fall of SpongeBob, examining how the humor, tone, and characters shifted, the impact of creator Stephen Hillenburg's departure, and even how SpongeBob compares to other long-running cartoons. Now, to understand the decline, we first need to appreciate just how exceptional SpongeBob's early seasons were. Seasons 1 through 3 are often dubbed the golden era of the show. Under the guidance of creator Stephen Hillenburg, who served as showrunner, and a tight-knit team of writers and animators, the series delivered a unique blend of childlike whimsy and clever humor that both kids and adults could enjoy. Episodes from this era, such as Band Geeks, became legendary. Critics praised the show's wit and well-rounded characters during this period, often calling it one of the funniest and most innovative cartoons on TV. This golden era culminated in the SpongeBob Squarepants movie in 2004, which Hillenburg directed as a grand capstone to the series. At the time, Hillenburg actually intended for the movie to serve as SpongeBob's series finale, ending the show on a high note. The film's success and the rich potential of a SpongeBob franchise made Nickelodeon eager for more, and ultimately the network was not ready to let SpongeBob go. This decision set the stage for a major turning point, one that would profoundly affect SpongeBob's humor and quality in the years to come. With Hillenburg stepping down as showrunner after the 2004 movie, the SpongeBob series entered a post-movie era under new leadership. Veteran writer and storyboard artist Paul Tibbitt took over as the showrunner starting in season 4. Many other original creative staff members also departed around this time. For example, creative director Derek Dryman, who had been instrumental in shaping the first 3 seasons. The loss of Hillenburg and the seasoned team meant the show's creative direction was now in new hands. The new writers and producers genuinely tried to maintain the SpongeBob spirit, and indeed season 4 still produced some enjoyable episodes. However, the tone and pacing began to drift. According to fans and observers, subtle changes accumulated. Voice actor Tom Kenny started pitching SpongeBob's voice a bit higher and more nasally, making the character sound more hyper and childlike.
Gary's favorite treats! Gary can't resist these babies. They're filled with 8 types of organic sediment that bottom feeders like Gary can't get enough of.
The comedic timing also accelerated. Episodes became faster paced and more manic, with rapid-fire editing and less breathing room for jokes. While earlier seasons balanced zany gags with slower character moments, many post-movie episodes felt more chaotic. The writing leaned increasingly toward a younger demographic, favoring loud slapstick over the layered wit and gentle sarcasm that Hillenburg's team had mastered. As one analysis put it, the new crew opted for a more kid-friendly humor. Characters began yelling more and relying on exaggerated physical comedy. It's not that SpongeBob was ever a subtle show, but the balance had tipped, where once there were clever double entendres or absurdist satire.
Let me guess, Tiny, a small salad?
I'll take a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft, 4x4 animal style, extra shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze, light axle grease, make it cry, burn it and let it swim.
We serve food here, sir.
Now there were more straightforward, goofy antics. Along with changes in humor came changes in the characters themselves. In the post-movie seasons, SpongeBob's core characters slowly transformed into caricatures of their former selves. By seasons 5 and 6, fans noticed that the nuanced personalities from earlier seasons had been exaggerated to extremes. It's a phenomenon TV critics call Flanderization. Flanderization refers to characters losing depth and becoming defined by one or two exaggerated traits. As SpongeBob continued into seasons 6, 7, and 8, the critical consensus among many fans was that the show had truly fallen from grace. These seasons are often cited as the low point in SpongeBob's quality. The humor was not only more juvenile, but sometimes shockingly unpleasant. A good example of this is in The Splinter, an episode where SpongeBob gets a bad splinter in his thumb at work, and the story dwells on every disgusting detail. Close-up shots of a swollen, pus-filled splinter wound, SpongeBob's thumb grotesquely enlarging and oozing. While SpongeBob had occasionally used gross-out jokes in the past, it was never this excessive, and many found the episode more revolting than funny.
Problems happen.
Now, a central factor in this story is the role of Stefan Hillenburg, SpongeBob's creator. We've noted that he left his role as showrunner after season 3, which coincided with the initial drop in quality. Hillenburg's absence in seasons 4 to 8 is often cited as the main reason the show lost its spark, and there is some truth to that. He had cultivated the original vision and comedic sensibility of SpongeBob, and without him at the helm, the show's new leaders struggled to recapture that same magic. However, the story doesn't end with his departure. Unusually for a creator in television, Hillenburg eventually made a comeback to the series. In the early 2010s, Nickelodeon was still churning out SpongeBob episodes and even planning a second feature film. Hillenburg stayed away for a while, focusing on other projects, but around 2014 he decided to return in a bigger capacity. He co-wrote the story for the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water, and once the movie's production wrapped, Hillenburg came back on board the TV series as an executive producer and story collaborator.
Yeah, now we're talking! Yeah! Ow!
Hillenburg's return injected some fresh energy and hope into the show. He and the team set out to course correct and improve SpongeBob's quality. By season 10, many fans observed a noticeable uptick in the writing and animation. The humor became less mean and childish, and more surreal again, with clever twists reminiscent of older episodes. From seasons 10 through 11, SpongeBob enjoyed a modest renaissance, and SpongeBob felt more like itself again. That said, it's important not to overstate the recovery. While these later seasons were generally seen as better than the darkest days of seasons 6 and 7, they didn't quite reach the legendary status of the original trilogy of seasons. Still, Hillenburg's return ensured that SpongeBob did not go out on the sour notes of the mid-2010s. Tragically, Stefan Hillenburg's return was cut short by his untimely passing. In 2017, it was revealed that he had been diagnosed with ALS, a neurodegenerative disease. He continued to work on SpongeBob as long as he could, remaining involved with the show until his health worsened, and he ultimately passed away in November 2018. Fans around the world mourned the creator, but also celebrated the incredible legacy he left behind. SpongeBob's journey is often compared to that of other beloved animated shows that went through their own rises and falls. Two particularly useful comparisons are The Simpsons and Adventure Time, which illustrate different ways a long-running cartoon can handle creative transitions. SpongeBob and The Simpsons have some parallels. Both were breakout hits that became cultural juggernauts. Both ran far longer than anyone anticipated, and both saw a decline in quality after a peak golden age. In the case of The Simpsons, the show's golden era is usually defined as roughly seasons 3 to 8, when a stable team of writers and showrunners produced consistently acclaimed episodes. After that, many fans and critics noticed a drop-off. The humor became broader, the storytelling less sharp, and by seasons 10 and 11, there was a general consensus that The Simpsons had definitely started to suffer. No! Sound familiar? It's a bit like SpongeBob's post-movie era, in that a change of guard resulted in a different feel to the comedy. The Simpsons, of course, never had a single obvious moment, like a movie, where the creator stepped down. Its evolution was more gradual, yet by the 2000s, dedicated fans were lamenting how their show had become a zombie of itself. just as SpongeBob fans would later grumble the same about SpongeBob. On the other end of the spectrum is Adventure Time, a Cartoon Network series that, like SpongeBob, was a groundbreaking hit with a strong creative visionary at the helm. Pendleton Penn Ward created Adventure Time and was its original showrunner. Partway through the series, however, Ward made the personal decision to step down from running the show. The result? Adventure Time continued on through its 10th season, with much of its quality intact. The writing team and new leadership managed to honor the tone and depth of the show that Penn Ward had established. Fans generally agree that Adventure Time's later seasons maintained the show's heart and ultimately delivered a satisfying ending. Ultimately, when comparing SpongeBob to these shows, SpongeBob's decline was sharp because it lost its guiding force abruptly and was kept alive primarily for its franchise value. The Simpsons shows the endurance of a pop culture titan, but also the inevitability of diminishing returns over time. Adventure Time offers a more optimistic case of managing change without severe creative loss. These comparisons, I feel, contextualize SpongeBob's experience within the broader landscape of animated series. Many hits eventually face a crossroads, where changes behind the scenes echo in the on-screen product. Quality ups and downs aside, one thing is undeniable. SpongeBob Squarepants has left a mark on popular culture. Even during periods when the show's new episodes were met with criticism, SpongeBob never faded from the public consciousness. In fact, in some ways, the mid to late 2000s increased SpongeBob's cultural footprint thanks to the internet's embrace of the characters and scenes from the show. By the 2010s, SpongeBob memes had become a common language of the internet, used to express every emotion from joy to frustration.
Hey, Patrick.
What?
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
21?
Beyond memes, SpongeBob maintained a legacy through sheer cross-generational appeal. The show continued to draw solid viewership from children who didn't know about the decline and just enjoyed the colorful underwater antics. In recent years, Nickelodeon has doubled down on the SpongeBob universe, with spin-offs like Camp Coral and The Patrick Star Show. These have met mixed reactions, but they underscore how SpongeBob as a franchise is still enormously important. In the big picture, SpongeBob's decline and partial revival illustrate a narrative of a show growing up, getting lost, and then trying to find itself again. It's a testament to how special those first seasons were, that the show is forever measured against them. And yet, the very fact that SpongeBob has endured this long, through rough patches and all, is extraordinary. Perhaps the later seasons will never quite recapture the exact magic of Hillenburg's original run, but even so, SpongeBob continues to be relevant. After all, at the end of the day, the SpongeBob we remember, the best of it, will always be living in a pineapple under the sea, ready to bring us back to that carefree laughter once again.